To truly understand bronchitis, you need to picture what is actually happening inside the airways the moment the disease begins. Bronchitis is not just a cough. It is a chain reaction of events inside the bronchial tubes that gradually disrupts normal airflow and breathing. The bronchial tubes are the air passages that carry air from the trachea into the lungs. Under normal conditions, these tubes are open, smooth, and lined with special cells that produce a thin, protective mucus. Tiny hair-like structures called cilia constantly move this mucus upward, removing dust, microbes, and irritants from the lungs. This protective mechanism is known as the mucociliary clearance system, and it plays a critical role in maintaining healthy airways. The pathophysiology of bronchitis usually begins when harmful agents enter the respiratory tract. In acute bronchitis, the most common triggers are respiratory viruses, such as influenza or other upper respiratory viruses. In chronic bronchitis, the major cause is long-term exposure to irritants, especially cigarette smoke. But air pollution, dust, and occupational chemicals can also contribute. When these irritants reach the bronchial lining, they begin to damage the epithelial cells that protect the airway. This injury is the first step that initiates the entire disease process. Once the airway lining becomes irritated, the body immediately activates an inflammatory response. The immune system releases chemical mediators such as cytokines, histamine, and other inflammatory signals. These chemicals attract immune cells like neutrophils and macrophages to the affected area. While this immune response is designed to eliminate pathogens and repair tissue damage, it also causes swelling of the bronchial walls. Blood vessels in the airway dilate and become more permeable, allowing immune cells and fluid to move into the surrounding tissue. As a result, the bronchial tubes begin to thicken and the airway diameter becomes smaller. Even this early stage of inflammation can start to reduce airflow through the bronchi. Another major event that occurs during bronchial inflammation is excessive mucus production. The bronchial lining contains mucus-secreting goblet cells, whose normal function is to trap harmful particles. However, inflammatory mediators strongly stimulate these cells, causing them to produce large quantities of thick mucus. At the same time, the submucosal glands in the airway also become enlarged and produce additional secretions. The airway, which normally contains only a thin protective layer of mucus, now becomes filled with thick, sticky secretions. While mucus production increases, another protective mechanism begins to fail. The cilia that normally move mucus out of the lungs become damaged due to infection and irritation. Viral toxins and cigarette smoke can paralyze these cilia or destroy them completely. Without effective ciliary movement, mucus clearance becomes severely impaired. Instead of being removed from the airway, mucus accumulates inside the bronchial tubes. This combination of airway swelling and mucus accumulation begins to narrow the bronchial passages. As the airway lumen becomes smaller, resistance to airflow increases. When patients inhale or exhale, air must pass through these partially obstructed passages. This creates turbulent airflow, which produces the characteristic wheezing sound heard during breathing. The obstruction also reduces the amount of oxygen reaching the alveoli where gas exchange occurs. Because mucus cannot be cleared effectively, the body activates another defense mechanism, known as the cough reflex. Cough receptors located in the airway lining detect irritation and mucus buildup. These receptors send signals to the brain, triggering a forceful cough that attempts to expel the mucus from the lungs. This is why the most common symptom of bronchitis is a persistent, productive cough. In acute bronchitis, the cough usually lasts for several days to a few weeks. In chronic bronchitis, the cough can persist for months or even years. This inflammatory process continues for a long period of time. Structural changes begin to occur within the airway. This is particularly important in chronic bronchitis. Continuous exposure to cigarette smoke or environmental pollutants keeps the inflammatory cycle active. Over time, the bronchial walls become thicker and less flexible. The number of mucus-producing goblet cells increases, a process known as goblet cell hyperplasia. This results in chronic mucus hypersecretion. Another change that occurs is narrowing of the airway due to fibrosis and smooth muscle thickening. The airway becomes permanently narrowed, which significantly limits airflow. Because of this, chronic bronchitis is considered one of the major forms of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. As airflow becomes increasingly restricted, gas exchange within the lungs becomes less efficient. Oxygen normally travels through the bronchi into the alveoli where it enters the bloodstream. However, when the airways are blocked with mucus and inflammation, less oxygen reaches the alveoli. This leads to reduced oxygen levels in the blood, a condition known as hypoxemia. In severe cases, patients may develop cyanosis, which appears as a bluish discoloration of the lips and fingertips. A helpful way for students to remember the major events in bronchitis pathophysiology is the mnemonic IMMIC. The letter I stands for irritation of the airway lining. The first M represents inflammation of the bronchial walls. The second M represents mucus overproduction. The letter A represents airway narrowing. The letter C represents coughing as the body attempts to clear secretions. This simple mnemonic summarizes the key steps that explain why bronchitis produces its characteristic symptoms. There are also several important clinical considerations that healthcare professionals should remember. In elderly patients or individuals with weakened immune systems, bronchitis can progress more quickly and may lead to secondary bacterial infections. In smokers, the disease process tends to be more severe because tobacco smoke continuously damages the airway lining and cilia. In patients with pre-existing respiratory conditions such as asthma, bronchitis may trigger severe bronchospasm and worsen breathing difficulty. Another special situation occurs in chronic bronchitis patients who develop long-term oxygen deficiency. Because the body adapts to chronically low oxygen levels, these patients may rely on low oxygen levels to stimulate breathing. This is why oxygen therapy must be administered carefully and monitored closely in severe chronic bronchitis. For nurses and medical students, understanding these mechanisms is extremely important. When you understand why inflammation, mucus production, and airway obstruction occur, it becomes easier to understand the purpose of treatments, such as bronchodilators, corticosteroids, hydration, and airway clearance techniques. In summary, the pathophysiology of bronchitis is a progressive chain of events that begins with airway irritation and infection. This triggers inflammation, which causes swelling of the bronchial walls. Excessive mucus production and damage to the cilia prevent effective mucus clearance. The accumulation of mucus and swelling narrows the airway and restricts airflow, leading to cough, wheezing, and shortness of breath. In chronic cases, long-term inflammation causes permanent structural changes in the airways that result in persistent respiratory symptoms and reduced lung function. Understanding this process helps healthcare professionals recognize the disease early and provide appropriate management to prevent complications.